All right, SNL live. I'm in Vegas. Cody's in Houston. Next week we'll be at the NFL Combine. This Friday we'll be at Spanky's for the SNL Spanky's NFL Combine send-off. The offseason is upon us. The rumors are going crazy. There's crazy promises being made that I don't think that I visually want to see, but I kind of would get a kick out of it.
Team content would be very happy if it happened.
So John McClain has said that if CJ Stroud gets traded,
I'll walk naked down Kirby at rush hour, is what McClain said. Is anyone else willing to do, if he's not traded, they would do the same? Didn't think so. McClain has beside himself with the rumors that CJ Stroud would be involved in any sort of trade talks. He was very adamant yesterday and today. CJ Stroud's not getting traded, and he's gone as far as to put potentially his beautiful body on display if that happens.
Well, it's funny because I got here yesterday, and like when you get off a plane or when you land, you kind of just scroll through your timeline just to see, did I miss anything? You know, you watch him. I watched a movie to kind of kill time, and then I saw McClain just emphatically talking about CJ Stroud getting traded, and I was like, whoa, like, is he saying this because there was some sort of extension? Is he saying this because there's some sort of credible report? So I looked and I didn't really see it, but I guess it stems from something that Todd McShay said.
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I got the comments today, and if you haven't heard them, or just to kind of more fully flesh out what McShay had to say, here was McShay's first comments about CJ Stroud and linking him to the trade block.
If Daniel Jones goes back, Malik Willis picks a spot, Aaron Rodgers retires or goes back to Pittsburgh, like, there's not a lot in the free agency market. But the intriguing stuff, I'm told, don't be surprised in the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to free agency. There's going to be some big name quarterbacks that are currently in destinations that have contracts that are going to be targeted. Teams are going to be aggressive. CJ Carr is one of them.
CJ Carr?
I mean, it's not CJ Carr. CJ Stroud, sorry.
Oh, okay.
CJ Stroud, I was just giving.
I was trying to figure it out. Yeah. Okay.
CJ Stroud's a name. Does he need a new scenery? Joe Burrow's a long shot. No one thinks it's going to happen, but like, I'm just getting out ahead of, you're going to hear some information, whether it's at the forefront, like on the ticker, or some whispers and rumors that, wow, someone allegedly threw a lot of money and a lot of picks and a lot of compensation offers in a package to try to get Joe Burrow out of Cincinnati. So be prepared for that is our kind of intel update today.
So it started with Joe Burrow, or started with CJ Stroud, turned into Joe Burrow, and it was, hey, I just want to get out in front of this. This may happen. It's very Jeremy Fowler of him.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that this is going to happen. I would ask the question, like, if we want to just even entertain this, where would it make sense for someone to trade for CJ Stroud? Like that, that's the question that I would really ask. Like, where would it even make sense for a team to trade for CJ Stroud? Like, who in their right mind would even, like, with 1 year left on the extension and then you have the 5th year option, like, what's the value and what's the benefit of making such move?
The benefit would be, it has to be a team that doesn't have a quarterback that they feel very good about. And the value for that team is they believe they're a better coaching staff than what the Texans have, and they would recapture some of what CJ Stroud had in 2023, and they'd be able to draw that out better than the Texans have over the past couple of seasons. But the great equalizer in any conversation about CJ Stroud that McShay never mentions, and we'll play his other comment here in a second, that other people never mention, when it's like, yeah, teams could target CJ Stroud. The Texans have to be willing to do it. Like, even like you'd have to pry him away from them, and then they'd be left without a quarterback solution. That is, I mean, Davis Mills is fine, but You don't want to start a season with Davis Mills. Like the Texans element never got addressed by McShay on the Todd McShay show or really anybody when they're like, oh, well, Stroud might be on the trade block. Yeah, well, what are the Texans going to do?
Yeah, and that's where it doesn't really make sense. Like if you're asking me like what team would it make sense to trade for CJ Stroud, I think Indianapolis would be a good, like if I was looking at my quarterback situation, I was Indianapolis, I would say, yeah, if we have CJ Stroud, then I think we are a quarterback away, and I think we think that Shane Steichen could do his thing. Now, here's the problem they have. First of all, the Texans aren't going to trade within the division, and the second thing is they've traded 2 first-round picks, and last I checked, they haven't changed that like 5-year thing. So they've traded 2 first-round picks, so you wouldn't be able to do it. Like I could maybe see a scenario if the Texans wanted to do like a Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff type of situation, because I think you can make a case that even like the biggest like CJ Stroud defender and the biggest CJ Stroud skeptic, like you feel kind of like, have we hit a wall? Like, is it Groundhog Day around here where your ceiling's only so high? And this year was kind of the option. So maybe like a Stafford Goff type of swap. I just don't think that happens this year, because the other thing about Cincinnati is I would think that Zach Taylor's only there because of Joe Burrow. Like I don't think that they brought back Zach Taylor, who I think probably should have been fired. But my thought is that Zach Taylor is only there for Joe Burrow. So I don't think that would make sense.
Yeah, I would be very much in the camp of entertaining a Goff Stafford type deal if there was a team that could do that. But there's not a team that's doing that. Cincinnati's the ultimate don't change anything franchise. Like Marvin Harris was their coach forever, and like
Marvin Lewis.
Excuse me, Marvin Lewis is their coach forever. They're not trading their quarterback and making that big of a change and a drastic directional shift of a franchise. Then you look at some of these other teams, it's like, well, Dallas isn't trading Dak. Baltimore's not trading Lamar. Tampa's not trading Baker for Stroud. Detroit's not trading Goff for Stroud. Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback you'd want. Like all of a sudden your options are out. Like you don't there's no Goff Stafford. And then even if you just found it, like even if Minnesota, like, okay, Minnesota's the team that's going to trade for CJ Stroud, what are the Texans doing, and why would the Texans do that? Like they'd have to have some pivot or some move or some direction at quarterback beyond what Davis Mills is. Because if they felt good enough about Davis Mills to make him the starting quarterback in 2026, they'd have played Davis Mills in 2025.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I just think it's really bizarre because it is a slow day. Like, let's just be honest. Like, it is a slow day. Like, and we wouldn't give this the time of day 4 days from now. This is literally the only window where we acknowledge it. But I think the way to expand it is, yeah, perhaps if there was a Stafford opportunity, like a go from Goff to Stafford type of opportunity for the Texans, I think it might be something that they would be willing to do. It just doesn't exist. Like the two guys that could potentially be that, their organizations aren't ready to make those moves. So, and it's not like you have, the other thing is like in the Stafford case, the Lions were in hell. Like they were in hell, and they had a good quarterback that was kind of preventing them from just doing a complete and full rebuild, because he was good enough to win a few games for you every once in a while. So I don't know what world McClain lives in where he sees this and gets so fired up about it. Like that's why I was so surprised by it. And I love John, but I was just like, okay, like it's Schefter, Rappaport, Pelissaro, anyone, and it's out here in YouTube world, Todd McShay.
Yeah, no, it's and it wasn't even that. Like that was the other thing is I thought McShay's framing of it was very strange. And then when it got aggregated, it just got very surface aggregated. Because let me play you the additional clip, because it was already strange. It gets even weirder when McShay further goes on to talk about it.
Yeah, it's just interesting when you're talking to people in the league, like stuff's about to start like trickling down fast and not like actually like avalanching down.
That's fascinating.
And it doesn't mean that Stroud or Burrow or a big name like that is going to wind up moving. But teams are looking at this as, again, holistically. All right, 2027 is great. And like, if we can get some additional compensation in this draft for next year to try to, move up to go target one of those guys I talked about, whether it's Arch or Dante Moore or Sorsby, because we like a lot of other guys, but we are in love with one or two of them or three of them, But in the meantime, can we just solve it with someone that's a proven commodity or that we think that we could do better with, like a Stroud here than maybe he's doing in Houston? Because clearly something's going on. I don't know if it's Houston related or interpersonal related or whatever it is. Stroud hasn't been the guy the last 2 years in Houston that he was his rookie year. And so some people are looking at that saying, a lot of egos, justifiably so. Can we get that rookie year out of Stroud here?
See, it got even weirder because it went from some team's going to go try to improve their quarterback position and get CJ Stroud to, well, maybe he'd be like a stopgap in case they like somebody in the 2027 draft. And it's like, McShay was all over the place with this. And it felt like he was just trying to be like, if something came out, he could say like, I got there first.
Yeah, it just feels, and he wasn't really presenting it as a hypothetical, which I think this is kind of the season of hypotheticals, which we'll get to in a sec with the running backs. But yeah, I thought it was funny. I get off the plane and effing McLean's like, effing McLean's going nuts.
Yeah,
I'm just like, what happened here?
There is a little danger here because of the McLean history. Famously, John had to eat the
newspaper
page of the newspaper. There was also, I think it was 2021. It was, I got a better chance to be the Texans head coach than Deshaun Watson does of getting traded. Now, to be fair, I think that John had a resume that was not that far away from David Culley, and Deshaun did not get traded that year. He got traded the following year. So, Could you imagine a head coach John McClain instead of David Culley?
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, there's that portion. By the way, Spanky's this Friday. Yep. John McClain, big fan of Spanky's as well. Who's not? Quite frankly, this is for the diehards. This is for the diehards and the ones who've never tried. We got to see you at Spanky's. We're not going to stop during football season. We're going to keep rolling. So we want to see you at Spanky's for the combine send off. I got to tell you, I'm a little distracted here. This is
how's I know you're excited to get back to Spanky's, but how's Vegas been? You gave me a restaurant recommendation.
I'm the classiest guy in the world, by the way. Some people would say I'm an idiot, but I'm by far the classiest, best karma guy in the world. So yesterday I was making some basketball bets and I was just being reckless. Not my best basketball day. Now, it could have been worse. I did have a couple saves, but not my best basketball day. So as I'm going up to the kiosk out here at Planet Hollywood, I look down and I see a cash out ticket for $275. It's a voucher.
Oh, so like somebody had left the money in the machine and that was their, hey, get your money out of the machine.
$275 cash out voucher for $275. So I took it and I gave it to the guy at the desk, and I just said, "Hey, just want to give you this in case someone lost it."
You didn't keep it.
Did not.
And that was you didn't see somebody drop it, or it was just there.
Just there. It's just sitting right there. $275 cash out.
Wow, that's you know what? I feel like that's going to come back to you in a different way.
Well, if we're being completely honest and telling like the whole story, the last time I was in Vegas, I tried to use like my old wallet instead of the new style that I used, the black one, and I dropped credit card, driver's license, couple other things, and someone had turned it in. So I was like, I am going to hell if I even consider taking this $275.
Oh, so it wasn't a karma's coming back to pay you back. It was you paying karma back.
I think I still would have done it, but I will say that that I definitely thought of. By the way, I think I'm becoming like an old where I like the fact that there's nobody here. Like it's Vegas still pops, like it's still popping like anything else, but I like that it's like so empty right now. There's not as many games, which is fine. Like it kind of limits my stupidity, but I like it. And then I'll see if I can do this on the phone. So we got
now we got two Landrys. Look at
that.
There
you go. Yeah. So we got
Jeez. They put this man up in the suite.
Living room.
Wow, nice. Look at this. This is like MTV Cribs.
Living room action. This is when you know you're old. This is when you know you're old. You bring the massage gun for all the walking.
He brought his massage gun. Nice view. Look at that view. Look at that view. That's fantastic. You see the Bellagio over there? That's great.
It's tough. Look at that.
That bathroom is enormous. That's you do not fit in that bathtub. No way.
Sitting in the tub?
No way. No way you fit in the bathtub. Well, this is a great little room you got going on here. This was
sit in the tub, get me a little sticky icky.
Observing everything that the Vegas Strip has to offer.
On the herb. Just looking at the fountain show out there at Bellagio. But yeah, I thought I don't know if everyone would have turned in the 275. The other thing is, though, if we're being completely honest, that's one of those things where they might go look at the camera.
Well, so
sir, where'd you have it last?
It's funny you said that because I left $100 in a slot machine one time, and they went and looked at the camera and looked at like which guest came in after me, and ultimately that guest had left and they couldn't do anything for me. But yeah, they can find, if they work hard enough, they can find who it is, or they can charge the $275 to the game and keep it themselves.
No doubt. All right, so let's get into the running backs. It's one of my favorite topics. We're going to have some good gifts to give away this Friday at Spanky's. Looking forward to that. But let's look at this running backs, because this is kind of interesting. And I don't know if this is a flip-flop, because it's kind of a dangerous area, because Breece Hall is obviously the most popular name, and he has been for a few months.
Yep.
But where I find myself, and I think you find yourself, is we try to make sense of the Jets, and it's just kind of a hard thing to do. So, like, naturally, I figured, okay, they're rebuilding, and they're going to trade Breece Hall. But then you take your mind back, and you're like, well, they were also rebuilding at the deadline and unloaded everyone, and then they kept Breece Hall. And it's really bizarre to figure out, especially like with the Jets and Aaron Glenn, the fact that they're in quarterback hell this year. There's really no options. Like, now the report comes out, and this isn't from like just a random Todd McShay. The Athletic is reporting that the Jets could very well franchise tag Breece Hall, and I think they said that that's kind of the direction they're leaning.
So the franchise tag this year is going to be about $15 million, a little bit less for running backs. And for a team like the Jets that are sitting around with, almost $65 million in cap space and a way to make more cap space, the financial commitment's not the important part about it for them. And the tough part is it very much felt to me like Breece Hall didn't want to be there. And if he gets the franchise tag slapped on him, he doesn't really have a choice, because nobody's trading a couple of firsts for Breece Hall.
No.
And yes, the Jets can accept lesser compensation, but they wouldn't even take a 4th-round pick for a guy that was a pending free agent at the trade deadline. So they clearly think highly of this guy, and this entire coaching staff and maybe the general manager, they're all trying to save their jobs. So, 6-7 wins this season with whatever roster they cobble together, those guys get another, they get another year probably. So Breece Hall, obviously, it's better to have him than to have whatever hell they could figure out at the running back spot. But I just feel like the Jets have operated in a very weird way with him. He does not feel like he wants to be there, just the way that he is on social media about it. And I have to imagine the losing has to catch up to him at some point. He'd love to play for a team that is a lot better, or if he's going to be saddled with a big contract, it's a multi-year thing and not just the franchise tag for one season, less than $15 million.
Yeah, I'm not dismissing the possibility that they don't franchise tag him. It just seems, if you go back to what they did at the trade deadline, it's rather weird to try to connect dots, and I think assumptions can be kind of dangerous when it comes to what the F they're doing out there.
Well, and I think one of the biggest things we kind of have to do is we kind of have to just throw like the caveat on there that like, hey, it's the Jets and they do dumb stuff and they operate weird and it's not the best organization and their coach is a dummy and it seems like their general manager is like, kind of okay, but like you have to apply the caveat of it's the Jets to this stuff sometimes.
Yes, I would agree. That's definitely what you got to do. So then we get to the other guy, and on the chat, Von Clutch says, Cody, what do you think about Logan Jones, the center?
Logan Jones is the center out of Iowa and was very good this year. Of course, Iowa was the best offensive line in college football. They won the O-line award, whatever it's called, I think the Joe Moore Award. They won that. He's been the starting center at Iowa for 3 seasons and seems to be a pretty solid prospect. I think a lot of draft people think there's many more centers better than him. But hey, an Iowa offensive lineman, you're not gonna get me to turn my nose up at that if you spend a 5th, 6th round pick on a guy like him.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of good tight ends and a lot of just those big ass offensive linemen, just country folk, whatever. The Seahawks aren't expected to franchise tag Kenneth Walker. Now, this is according to Adam Schefter. So, what do we make of this? I don't know what direction they're going to go, but it does feel like Kubiak's kind of depleting that staff. Like he's taking Darnold's quarterback coach. He's taken a bunch of guys. Obviously, he's not going to get Kenneth Walker because he has Ashton Genty, who's probably a top 6 pick in fantasy next year, if we're being completely honest. But not franchise tagging Kenneth Walker. Does this just mean they're leaning towards locking him up long term? Does this mean that they're just going to go with Charbonnet and maybe someone on day 2? Like, I don't know where this is going.
It's a very strange move because the Seahawks, despite having just won the Super Bowl, they have a lot of cap space. So if they wanted to just slap the franchise tag on Kenneth Walker and try to negotiate a long-term deal, just maybe hang out for a little while, see what the market looks like, see how much Breece Hall gets paid, and maybe they want to pay Kenneth Walker just a tiny bit more, so on and so forth. But they don't have another – it's not like they have another player that's a franchise tag candidate that they'd like, oh, well, we have to use it on that player instead of this player. It's a very strange move that they wouldn't at least guarantee that they have that exclusive right to negotiate with the guy. Because if he hits wide open free agency, he's obviously getting more than whatever the Seahawks would talk to him and offer him now. And I don't think it's out of the question that he ends up, when free agency is done, as either the 2nd or 3rd highest paid running back by average annual value, just because of the nature of the free market and some of the money that teams have to spend. So it's very curious to me that the Seahawks, and it's not like Charbonnet's healthy. Like Charbonnet tore his ACL last month.
It's not like he's as good either.
Correct. Yeah. But it's like they have a healthy backup that they think is just as good. That's not the case at all. So it's really,
and Sam Darnold's getting 33, like you're paying him 33 mil. Or whatever, like you got him at a pretty good bargain. This JSN might get his extension this year, which would probably be pretty effing expensive. I would say that's top 3, top 4, whatever, highest paid receiver. It'll be interesting. I think there's probably a chess match between he and Puka when it comes to the deal, the contract. So there's kind of that, much like we saw with like Stingley and Sauce Gardner. But I would think that they would still want to bring back Walker, but who knows?
it it doesn't feel like it's one of those like, oh, they know something things either. Like the guy was really good this year. There was only 2 running backs that had more big plays than him this year, rushes for 20 or more yards. That was Derrick Henry and Devon Achane. He was obviously the Super Bowl MVP. He was really good in the playoffs, displaying not only the physicality that he has, but the patience and the vision that he has at the running back spot. And he's been in a timeshare for the past few seasons. So it's not like you're getting some guy that's just been, driven into the ground by a tremendous amount of rushes and pass attempts and things like that. Like you're getting a not that much tread on the tire running back for the next few seasons if you sign him in free agency. So it's very curious that the Seahawks are just content to let him hit wide open free agency and have a much higher price tag on him than I expected.
Yeah, and I think that from a Texans perspective, as we localize it here on SNL, I think from a Texans perspective, I don't think D'Amico is going to penny pinch the running back position at this point. Like I just don't. I don't believe it. Like they've seen the difference that a top end running back can have, and they've seen what happens when you lose that. So they're definitely going to aggressively pursue the running back position, perhaps in a multitude of avenues. If they don't, then you can start to question the front office and the competence and how much attention they really pay to the position, which many people may already be doing. But the other thing we know is that D'Amico Ryans really, really, really likes Kenneth Walker. We talked about this even when the Texans took on the Seahawks. And the weaknesses of Kenneth Walker seem to complement the strengths of what Woody Marks does, at least in my opinion, where they say he can't catch. They say that he's not like the best in pass pro, although they say he's not awful. That kind of feels like that's a nice compliment and the ideal compliment for Woody Marks. So it just feels like it kind of meshes in. And then you also factor in that the Texans, I think they got Jawar Jordan and they're paying him like $1 million. Like that's just, you kind of throw him in the mix, and then hopefully British Brooks is your running back special teams guy and they don't do it with Dari again, which I guess you have an exercise for me that's just going to piss me off a little bit later on. But that the Kenneth Walker thing would make sense. I don't know how expensive it's going to be, how cute they're going to get. I just don't think – I think at this point with the final year of the C.J. Stroud rookie deal, I think you got to swing for the fences, and I think you got to do it on offense.
Well, and think about, like, I understand it might be 15, 16, 17 million on average annual value at running back, but that's easier to fit in than 30 million of a wide receiver or 25 million on a tackle or 20 million on a guard. Like you could fit that in a lot easier. And Rickson in the chat, if Casero didn't pay for Barkley, I don't know if he's willing to pay for Walker. They were in on Barkley. And if you believe the rumors, they had a higher offer than what Philadelphia had, but Barkley wanted to be in Philly. He wanted to play the Giants twice a year, and he wanted to be in that state. And he chose Philadelphia. So they were willing to go, and Barkley's original contract that he signed was, 3 years, almost $40 million and $12.5 million average annual value. Obviously, Walker's going to be more expensive than that hitting free agency, but they were in on what was going to be the highest paid running back in free agency in 2024. So I don't feel like they'd be shying away from having the conversation. Are they going to get Kenneth Walker? It's tough because I feel like there's a lot of teams with cap space that could use a running back. Like the Titans could use Kenneth Walker. The Jets could use Kenneth Walker if Breece Hall leaves because they don't franchise tag him.
Yeah.
The Commies could use Kenneth Walker. Like the Bengals could use Kenneth Walker. Like there's a lot of teams that could use Kenneth Walker that have lots of cap space. So like it's going to be expensive, but nice things cost money is what I like to say.
I like Brandon's point, and I think this is always funny. I always get a kick out of it where and this is some would say this is common sense, but I don't think it's common sense when people talk about free agents. He says sometimes people ignore the fact that the player chooses to. It is funny because sometimes you'll see like a guy and it's like this guy goes to the Kansas City Chiefs for $4 million or something like that to like play with Patrick Mahomes and company. And they're like, $4 million. Oh my God. How did the Texans not get him for $4 million? It's not a freaking like auction. It's not give me $4 like he gets to choose where he wants to go and where he wants to play. So I always, that is funny because, Saquon's from Philly. Philly was closer to a Super Bowl. And sometimes you just kind of use the leverage. It's not always about money for every player. Like some guys would take less money to be in a certain spot than the other. But it is funny whenever you see that and it's like minimum contract for him. Oh my God. It's like, I don't think he wanted to play for you.
Yeah. That and the other rumor of getting to take a shot at the Giants twice a year after they moved on from him,
I believe
you could offer. I mean, you would have had to have spent even more money than you were willing. And the Texans ended up with Joe Mixon, and he ended up being a fine player in 2024. It didn't work out in 2025. And they've got to make sure that the running back position works out in 2026. Not only from just running the ball better as a team, from the line to the quarterback getting them in the right runs and all that kind of stuff, to you got to have more talent. And I love Kenneth Walker because of what you said. The talent overlap is perfect with Woody Marks, and it almost forces them to throw the ball to Woody Marks because you're not going to throw it to Kenneth Walker.
Facts. All right, so let's go through some other running backs that are going to be or could be on the market. What about going to Jacksonville? Now, that's been kind of a pass around thing for the Texans and the Jags. They like to take each other's scraps. Most notably, Eric Murray last offseason and Christian Kirk last offseason. Travis Etienne actually had a pretty good year last year. How would you feel about Travis Etienne?
Etienne he kind of is like, to me, just a little bit of a step below Breece Hall. Like not a huge difference. I'd put him pretty close to the same category, but he's been a 1,000-yard rusher every year except for 2024. He catches the ball really well out of the backfield. He had 13 touchdowns last year combined between rushing and receiving. And yeah, the offensive line was a little bit better in Jacksonville in 25 than it was in 24. The coach was better in 25 than it was in 24. And he got back to being used as a better football player. But he's basically been productive every time he's been healthy in the NFL. And he missed the rookie season, but since then he's only missed 2 games. So he's a guy that's pretty reliable, pretty decent runner, pretty decent pass catcher. And I got to imagine going to be fairly expensive. I mean, you're talking probably $10, $11 million a year, maybe a little bit more. But he's certainly an intriguing player. And if you missed out on Kenneth Walker and you missed out on Breece Hall, he's worth having a conversation with him.
Then we go to Rico Dowdle. I like Travis Etienne too. I like the way that he can catch, he can run. I feel like D'Amico would like him. The Rico thing is interesting. Like, what is it about this guy? Like, why does no one want to commit to him? It's kind of weird. Like, every time he's been on the field the last 2 years, he's been freaking good. Like, and beyond freaking good. And for whatever reason, I guess maybe there's a financial commitment to Chuba Hubbard and Carolina, and then Dallas just kind of, you really can't knock what Dallas ended up doing in running back. They did fine. But the Rico Dowdle thing is interesting.
I think there's a chance Rico Dowdle's an asshole. I just think there's a small chance of that. Just listening to him and watching his final few weeks in Carolina, where he wasn't the starter. Chuba Hubbard got hurt. He started, was awesome. They make him the starter, and then they kind of, screwed around with him a little bit. And then he wasn't the starter, and then Chuba was sharing carries with him. And then the way he talked about, like, he's like, I'm a starting running back. I'm a number 1 running back. I need to be a number 1 running back. And like, he's like in the locker room saying this stuff to the media. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But as far as the football player,
he's not wrong.
Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. His touchdowns went up. His yards per attempt are the same. He doesn't have a lot of tread on the tire. Again, that's another important element if you're going to make a multi-year commitment to a free agent running back, is you don't want him to break down in the first or second year of the contract. He was an undrafted free agent that had to claw his way on to an opportunity with Dallas. And when he started in 2024, he was a 1,000-yard rusher and got even better in Carolina. And and had a successful season with them. And the only worry I'd have with Dowdle is if he feels like maybe Woody's getting too much of his stuff and he's not getting enough. But I feel like you can find enough carries for Rico Dowdle and enough cash to make him happy to be on the Houston Texans.
I wonder what D'Amico thinks of him.
I mean, maybe they could use a little edge in the locker room.
Yeah, I like his edge. I mean, he just wants opportunity.
Rico getting in the huddle and telling CJ Bryce wouldn't have fucked that up.
Javonte, too soon. Javonte Williams. Where are we at here? This is a no for me, dog. This is very uninspiring. I like what he did last year. This is just a no for me.
Wow, just right off the bat, no.
No, thank you.
I do feel like there's a decent chance that last year was about Dallas and the offense more than it was about Javonte Williams. Like if I had taken Rico Dowdle and kept him on the Cowboys, he probably has Javonte Williams this year, which was 1,200 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. Javonte Williams has never shown that before with Denver. He'd been healthy and played a couple of full seasons and not got anywhere close to that. The Cowboys have an excellent offensive line. They're very good on the in the run game. I do feel like he was kind of propped up by the Cowboys and some of the spots they were in and the offense. So I don't think he's as good as 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. But he's not an immediate no, but he's certainly nowhere near my first choice.
Yeah, that's very uninspiring for me. That's just kind of it's an eye roll for me. Tyler Algier comes up a lot.
See, this is an immediate no for me.
I don't get it. Like I'm very confused. Like, do people think that he's a guy that would thrive with an extended like 15, 20 carries a game? Because the Texans need a guy who's that. They don't need some guy who's going to be a short yardage running back and some guy who's going to come steal touchdowns from Bijan Robinson and all that. He's actually quite popular, it feels, when you talk running backs with people. And I'm not really as into it.
1,000-yard rusher as a rookie for a not good Atlanta Falcons team, but hasn't gotten anywhere close to that. Yes, he had 8 touchdowns last year. He had a career low in yards per attempt. He averaged 3.6 yards per attempt, career low in yards per game. And I get it. He's the backup to Bijan Robinson. So, yeah, no duh, Cody's not getting opportunities. But it just hasn't – like it's not like there's a whole bunch of flashes of, like, awesome stuff when he's on the field. Like he's a very like okay like role player. And I do worry for a team somewhere that's going to like make him one of their 2 key running backs. Like if you told me Tyler Algier was the 3rd running back for the Texans and Woody was the 2nd and then somebody else was the lead back, like, okay, like you're building kind of a room. Like you got some, like if you've got Dowdle and Algier, like, all right, here you go. You got a nice running back room. You got Rico Dowdle and then Woody Marks and then Algier.
Well, you're playing Madden today, brother.
But Algier and Woody Marks would be an awful running back tandem. Like that'd be
you still have to draft someone. And I saw yesterday that Pendergast brought up that because he does that mock exercise every year. He actually does a good job of organizing the mocks. He talked about Price at 59, and I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be there at 59, sir.
Jadarian Price, the Notre Dame running back?
Yes. Like he said he talked about him being there at 59, and I was like, I don't know.
I would be shocked if Jadarian Price is not the 34th overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I was very like I like 59. If you get him at 59, that's just kind of a no-brainer. I don't give a rat's ass what you do. I don't care if you sign Kenneth Walker. Like if he's there at 59, like Jalen Knoll, that mofo. Like get him on the damn squad.
Yeah, just a quick run through of teams that would absolutely be in on Jadarian Price at the top of the 2nd round. Arizona and Tennessee are 34 and 35. Obviously, the Texans pick at 38, but the Kansas City Chiefs at 40 would be a landing spot for him. The Bengals at 41, the Saints at 42, the Jets at 44,
They're talking about Pollard. They're talking about Pollard being gone in Tennessee too, and he's actually been really good the last 2 years. It's kind of crazy. Like he's actually, like it's funny because we don't really like the old Oilers / Titans. I respect the fuck out of what they got going on right now, though. I think they're heading in the right direction. But like if you just didn't really pay attention and you mentioned Tony Pollard, to be like, oh, what a bust of a signing that was. Not really for what they've gotten. They're just not good. Like the Calvin Ridley we can discuss, but the Snead, but the Tony Pollard's been really, really good for the Titans. And I don't know what D'Amico thinks of Tony Pollard. I think we heard him. I don't think he's like what we got a breakdown.
Every week he says the opposing running back's good, but then it's like parsing through how good he actually thinks they are.
And it's not hard to parse through. I don't remember what his overall thought was. Oh yeah. Someone never mind. Yes.
No, what was your what did he not like Tony Pollard?
Someone may have asked him about their old interest in Tony Pollard in the offseason when he got signed, and he just completely said, "Yeah, I don't think we were actually really interested in him."
Oh, that's right.
I knew it was something.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, Pollard was totally fine for Tennessee.
No, that's not to say that he like just crapped on it. It was just like a question was asked to him, and it was presented as if it was like common knowledge that the Texans were interested in Tony Pollard, and he said, "Yeah, I don't think that happened."
Yeah, because that was 2024 offseason, and that was Saquon.
That was Saquon and Mixon. Like he was gone at that time. Like they had a lot going on.
Yeah. I mean, Pollard's had basically 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns behind the worst offensive line in football for back-to-back seasons. So he's not a bad player. They get rid of him because of money or whatever, and you brought him in. Like, sure, not a lead back that gets you excited, but you know, I guess you could do worse. You could have Tyler Algier be your lead back.
Christopher says his allergies clear up when he goes to Vegas. The opposite for me, brother. Opposite for me. He's accusing me of playing in the snow late night. Did not happen. I actually went to bed quite early yesterday. I'm telling you, this is an old man Vegas trip. And wifey. Risque Barber says, who's bringing the most edge to the SNL locker room?
I mean, it's obviously Landry.
Yeah, it's me. And that's not necessarily like a good edge. It can be a bad edge. Yeah, so. Yeah,
and Risque Barber also notes, Tyler Algier never fumbled. Never fumbled. 4 years, never fumbled.
Oh, God. All right, never mind. D'Amico's making him the highest paid back in the league. Jesus.
There are, like, I will be interested to see, like, which teams kind of, like, jettison their running backs and maybe go a different direction. There's, like, Michael asks, like, would you sign Josh Jacobs if he was released?
Yes.
Josh Jacobs, Woody Marks, and a rookie.
Yes.
If that's your running back room,
yes,
I'm in. Sign me up. Yes. Like I'd be all about that.
The other thing that I do, I like the guy. You like the guy. Like, is Woody Marks going to continue to be good? I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just we've done this before where, and it happens all over the league. But we've done this before where it's like, oh, this guy had an awesome rookie season. The James Robinson theory, the Dameon Pierce theory. And that was why when Dameon Pierce, when we were going into the 2023 draft, I was like, draft another running back. And James Robinson was the running back that I pointed out that just completely fell out, whether it's injuries, whatever. Like, I'm always like wondering, like, is Woody Marks going to be good? And the other thing is this, man, like, we got to take our hints. Like, it's at some point, like I was thinking about this yesterday. It's weird. I think I was like chiefing and walking down to, I was walking down to the French restaurant down there. And I was like, I was chiefing and I was thinking, I was like, I feel like Woody Marks like bitch slapped us in the face 15 times last year with like potential warnings moving forward. It ended up playing in their favor, and you've talked about it. But when a guy limps off the field and has to get medical attention 14 times, 15 times, and 14 of the times he happens to go back on the field. Is that sustainable? And is that going to be something that, like, if Woody Marks has injury history, shouldn't we be like, well, we saw those warning signs? It's like the Anthony Richardson thing where they just completely ignored his injuries because he missed like a few games. It's like, well, he hurt himself dancing on a Friday. He had a concussion. He also had a knee injury, and there were a couple times where they just talked about like knuckleheaded injuries. So as much as I like Woody Marks and the way that he plays, and if he stays on the field, the way that he works, all that, ideally he's a really good complimentary back. But he did give us like some little clues last year, every damn game limping off the field.
Well, I fully believe Woody Marks would be better as a football player and likelier a higher impact player if he was used less than he was used this year. If he had a very specific role, you threw him the ball every now and then, you had him as sort of a change of pace back for your bell cow back, your top running back. And I do believe that's a maximization of Woody Marks. It's worth noting, as he deals with injuries and this and that, he is an older player too. Like it's not like he's 23 after a, college career. Like, I think Woody's 25.
Yes.
So your body starts to react differently to all those things. And
but he was never like a full workhorse guy.
Right. I just think from
USC.
like how many times you get in the blue tin, it just kind of adds up on you.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it wasn't just like a couple times. Like, it was a running bit, and it happened every time. Like literally every game that Woody Marks played, he limped off the field at some point. It's not, I'm not even being trite. Like, it literally happened every game. Patrick said that he walked past the Spanky's receipts. So Spanky's does not support littering, but they do support good food and purchasing their pizzas. So we'll see you there.
We'll see you there Friday for the Combine send-off. Going to be fantastic. Some pizza, some wings, maybe tater kegs, maybe the fried mushrooms, maybe a buffalo chicken wrap. Who knows? Some beverages. It'll be fun.
J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, guys always hurt, It's just he got hurt last year and left the Broncos kind of holding the bag with just R.J. Harvey and company. But was a pretty productive football player when he was healthy last year. 77 yards per game was a career high for him. And you can't throw him the ball, so he fits from a talent like what he does well standpoint with Woody Marks. But inevitably, he's going to miss games. So if you hitch your wagon to J.K. Dobbins, you're going to be without J.K. Dobbins for a stretch of the season, and maybe he's done for the year at some point. This
is a no, sir. No, sir. No, thank you. This is a no, sir. No, thank you. I mean, it happened again, dude. Like, yeah, this is a no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be mixing on a smaller scale, basically.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right, so let's play the bothering game. Now, explain the bothering game to Z Peeps.
So this is what I call the return bothering rankings, or the return bothering game. So I will ask Landry a question about a player coming back to the Texans, and he's got to explain how much that would bother him and why it would bother him.
All right, so on a 1 to 10 scale, is that where we're going?
Yeah, 10 being you just throw your hands up in the air, you wouldn't even know what to say. 1 being, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'd maybe even be interested in seeing the guy come back. Okay?
Okay, so I'll go 1 to 10.
All right, how bothering would an Ed Ingram return be?
I wouldn't 0. Like, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I mean, if they feel that if they feel it would work out and that's how they want to go and that's what they decide, you could do a lot worse. Like, I'm not like passionately against Ed Ingram coming back. I think you should churn and find someone young and try to find perhaps even the next Ed Ingram. I think he's one of those guys who has some really good highlights, and I think it gets a lot of people excited. But yeah, I'm not overly opposed to that one.
Okay. I thought there'd maybe be a little bit more on that one. Okay.
I mean, if he's one of the 5 highest paid guards in the league, give me a effing break. Like that's ridiculous. But like, I free agency naturally overpays. I just maybe the assumption of what the amount will be. Maybe we've been exaggerating it a little bit, or it's been fabricated, but it only takes one team. So who knows? But if you're talking like just a reasonable deal, cool.
Okay.
And then I won't have to worry about frickin' guards in the draft as much. So yeah, I'll take it.
That's true. How bothering would a Sheldon Rankins return be?
It's fine. I would rather them get younger and get someone in that spot. The problem with the D-line position that they have right now, and I think there's a lot of blowhard romanticism that goes on in that locker room, like in a number of ways where they like romanticize bullshit that really like big boy franchises shouldn't really romanticize as much. Is you only have one edge guy under contract in 2 years, and that's Will Anderson with the 5th-year option picked up. And you don't have a single DT under contract after next season. So what are you doing there? Like, that doesn't really solve that problem. So I think it feels like the mock drafters, for whatever that's worth, this might be worse than like a PFF ranking, but it does feel like they all realize that the Texans need DT. And I think D'Amico wants his DT. So if you want to bring back Rankins on 1 year, cool, but you damn sure better have someone who's a really good player that can start alongside Tommy Togiai, if not this year, next, because you have a lot of needs. And quite frankly, you're going to have needs as a whole once this catches up. It's cool to have 2-year contracts, but then there's also years where it's like, oh, shit, we don't have anyone under contract here. So, yeah, I'd be fine with Rankins. I do think there's a lot of over-romanticized stuff. And I also think there's got to be the one thing that I like about their time with Sheldon Rankins, and I think it's the best display of it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there might be other examples, but I think they've done a really good job of displaying when to buy and sell with Sheldon Rankins. And it almost feels like this next one might be the time to sell. Even at the same contract as last year. If that means bringing in Eric Armstead as kind of a different guy that does some different things, it's kind of like has the same type of intangibles, cool. The young guy, but like they got him for a value. He had a great season in 2023. They let him go in 2024. They were validated because I know it wasn't all his fault. I know there was some fluke shit that went on in Cincinnati, but they ended up getting rid of that contract. It obviously wasn't worth it to them. And then he comes back here for cheaper and he ends up doing his thing. So I think that cool with Sheldon. It feels like maybe you found Tommy Togiai, you found Derek Barnett, you found, for lack of a better term, Sheldon Rankins. Like, I just feel like you can give yourself some credit and you don't have to like splurge at that position. That just kind of seems like it's like, at what point when you're juggling this piece of pie that is the salary cap, at what point do you respect yourself and not just throw a bunch of money in where you're good at finding guys?
Yeah. The only issue with the Sheldon Rankins diatribe that you went on is they did try to re-sign him for a massive amount of money, and they just got outbid by the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So
that was a diatribe. Why I feel so passionate about Sheldon Rankins.
I don't know. How bothering would a return from Trent Brown be?
It's fine. I think people underestimate how fucking good he was when he was in there. Like, I don't know that that's sustainable, but I can promise you this. Like, I don't think Trent Brown's going on the market and getting much. Like, his contract might be more Laken Tomlinson's of last year than what it was before. But if he really wants to play, and he's kind of got the Oprah kind of in him where you can kind of see his weight fluctuate like 12, 14 pounds, like in a 2-week stretch. It's kind of impressive. Like the time where he was out, he looked fat. And then all of a sudden I looked at him and I was like, all right, this guy's like obviously cranking it up a notch. Like this dude can shed 14 pounds quickly. So what type of shape he's in, all that. Like if Trent Brown's one of your backup tackles, and if Trent Brown's going to even give you, a few games of what he gave you last year, and you have someone that you feel better about it, I'm fine with this. This is like a 1 year, probably up to $5 instead of up to $3 million deal.
If Trent Brown was the right tackle with a very clear young drafted replacement ready behind him, it's not the worst right tackle situation ever. You know, it's not the worst right tackle situation. It's better than running Blake Fisher out there.
Yeah, you can't rely on him. You can't rely on. You can't say if you deserve whatever the hell you get. If you say this is our starting right tackle, Trent Brown, you deserve that.
If that's plan A, you need to have a very, very good plan B and probably plan C.
Which could even be the case if he's a backup. Like, and God, am I going to do it again? But yeah, it's just kind of it's an interesting case with Trent Brown.
All right, how bothering would a Dare Agumbawale return be to Landry?
10 out of 10. I think this would be the ultimate example of incompetence. And quite frankly, if they do this, then I think that there's some things that you can minimize and say, well, this isn't a big deal. It's you're talking about a back end of the roster guy and all that. But I think this would just be an ultimate display of incompetence and over romanticizing things. Like last year, they had 3 running backs. 3 of the 5 that they had on their opening day roster with Mixon out were mainly special teams guys. Like Dameon Pierce was essentially some kick return guy based on like just one return a few years earlier. British Brooks is a special teams guy. Quite frankly, he's a better special teams guy than Dare Agumbawale at this point, and he's better running back too when he actually gets the opportunity. And Dare Agumbawale, we already know what he is. So you've had this guy around for 4 years, 5 years, however long it's been, and he actually cost you a game. Like he actually cost you a game. And I know Frank Ross might cry and he might have to take a absence for like a week of practice if this happens. But I think they got to grow up and move on from this Dare thing. Like Jawar Jordan makes $1 million. British Brooks makes $1 million. And they're both going to be on your roster next year. So British Brooks you don't need like all these running back special teamers. Enough is enough. Congratulations on maximizing your potential. Grow up, Texans.
Frank Ross never going to beat that. Never going to beat that crying.
The hell was that?
He was proud of special teams Dare, not running back Dare.
Dude, but why? Dude, here's the other thing I got to ask. I really got to ask, and I'm not going to pretend like I 100% know this, but I'm just going to ask, how good is he really at special teams? Like, this is like the Alfred Blue thing where they always said he was good at special teams. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to watch. When I'm at practice, I'm going to watch every Alfred Blue special teams thing. Okay, maybe I'm missing something. I'm going to watch every special teams rep of Alfred Blue. What makes him so good at special teams?
Your guess is as good as mine. All right, finally, how bothering would a Brevin Jordan 53-man roster return be?
Good for him. I mean, if they do that, if he's healthy and he gets out there, cool. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. You've had 2 seasons. It's really strange because like if you have 2 make or break, this is the season where you have to prove yourself injuries, and you have 2 season-ending injuries in that. Does it become more or less likely that it's going to happen? That's what's confusing me. It's almost like he just got to press pause twice. And like in like the rehab and all that, like I actually feel sorry for Brevin Jordan next year. And I know he'll handle it great because he's like the best guy in that locker room. And he's an ultimate vibe guy. But like I almost feel sorry for him because he's going to be saying the exact same thing this offseason that he did last offseason. It's going to be literally the exact same talk. And he was tired of it last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it is sort of like a let's play this game again, or let's read this story again for Brevin Jordan.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
He's obviously already back. He's got the contract, but I think there's a decent chance he gets maybe pushed out the door. The hunch that the expectation that anything is still there is kind of.
What do you think he is? That's my question. Like, what do you think he is? Because
I have no idea. I don't even have a starting point for what he could be.
Like, because he was kind of a unique player to begin with, but like, what is he? Like, what? Like in the best version of Brevin Jordan, what is he? I almost feel like the way that Dalton Schultz blocked in 2024 made some people think that Brevin Jordan was a good blocker. Like, and I'm like, I've watched every snap of the guy play. Like, he improved, but like, he's talked about almost like he's like a blocking tight end, or there's all types of stuff. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it. But it's cool. It's a cool. I mean, I guess it's a cool story. It's not cool if you don't address the tight end position, though. Like at some point, you got to do it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's weird. I don't get it. And then they gave him an extension after he got hurt, and I was just like, okay, maybe this is like, I don't know.
I'll always remember Brevin Jordan for obviously like the high expectations and like having getting hurt those couple times, but Brevin Jordan was the fire that started the reporter rivalry between who reported Brevin Jordan's injury first.
Oh yeah, when Alpha Aaron and Will Kunkel were like having like a beef about who got it first. Us with our nerdy ass media trading cards, we're enjoying that. That was funny.
Oh yeah, it's always good.
I don't know. I thought that Will won.
I thought he did too.
Yeah, I thought he won, but
Alpha Aaron's watching at home and he's like, there goes Landry again. Pick it on me.
You brought it up. You brought it up. No, I thought that Will actually got that one.
Yep.
I thought that was the one, but the Alpha will dispute it, and the Alpha's been on it. He's been on these coaching moves and some other stuff, so he's ready to go.
We'll cross paths with him at the combine.
Yeah, he'll be there. How many suits is he taking? He's taking 5.
I don't know.
Taking 5. Nah, he ain't jogging suiting it to the combine, is he?
Oh, I think he's absolutely doing the jogging suit.
No.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do that when he gets around his peers. He gets around his peers, he dresses like Stephen A. He just does that for us. He just does that for us. Like for us, we get the jogging suit. He's going to be dressed to the nines the whole time.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's going to be dressed to the nines the whole time. There's zero doubt about that.
Oh,
we'll see. Before the combine this Friday, join us at Spanky's. We'll be there for an entire week. We'll be broadcasting. We got tons of content for y'all. Good Lord. People talking about the pinstripe suit. I like the pinstripe suit, man. All right. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. I'm going to go bet on some baloncesto. I got some rallying to do.
Okay.
And I
believe in you.
These teams.
Good luck.
But yeah, thanks.
Good luck.
Should I take the first half over or under in the Michigan-Purdue?
Over.
All right. $200 on that. Thank you. I blame you if I lose. All right, bye.
That's good. Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All righty. Pinstripes, huh?